drops on mussels and veggies with chicken, dumbbells and water and heart rates that quicken, bright colored running shoes laced up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the... Oh yeah. Shout out to Jess Duff on that one. I was just reading her Instagram post. Okay. So, two big issues with fitness, right? One, fitness is an underground environment as it is. It's an underground industry. Not a whole lot of room to grow success-wise in like the music industry or anything like that. Secondly, natural bodybuilding slash strength training that I'm in is even more under the dirt. And there's two things that we are successfully doing to make sure it stays buried, people. One is we're forgetting that this is a sport, lifestyle, art form, whatever you want to call it, in which the skill, in which the actual art being presented, the thing that we're actually scrutinizing is ourselves. It's the personal self-image that we each hold individually as a person. What I mean by that is any sport, say football, right? You want to scrutinize an athlete like a quarterback. You can throw things at him like, oh, he sucks, he has no accuracy, or he can't throw, or like, you can criticize his game. But all you're doing is you're taking shots at his actual skill and his profession and his art form. You're not actually taking shots at him personally. So he can live with that. You're taking shots at things that he's doing and can continue to improve on by simply practicing. In fitness, the product we're presenting is our physiques. So naturally, the judging, the scrutinizing, the constructive criticism is going to be done on that person's physique. The problem is it's way too easy to get so wrapped up in looking at people's physiques as if they're actual products off of a manufacturing line that we're presenting. And forgetting that that is still somebody's body that you were taking shots at. And I see it all the time. I post photos up on my fan page, and people will be saying crazy things. They'll be like, Nick, you're looking chubby, you're looking fat, you're looking this and that, throwing these like ugly ass insults at me. And the saddest thing is, I barely even take offense to it just because I'm so used to the bodybuilding industry being like that. I have it in my head like, oh, well, you know, my body is my product, so I'm putting it out there, and the consumers are giving their feedback on my product. But lately I've been like, hold up, what the hell? What the hell? This is what's gonna stop fitness from growing because people see this shit. Yo, that is somebody. You are literally by saying. When I hear somebody say I'm chubby, I'm like, all right, well, what they mean by that is I'm just off season. My conditioning is not in contest shape right now. I've put on some excess body fat. Not a big deal. Until I actually stop and think about it from an outside perspective. If I didn't know fitness and I wasn't used to this ugly ass industry, and I went and looked at that, holy shit, you're a stranger from some other state calling somebody you don't know and somebody you've never met in your life. You're just calling them fat. Or you're calling them whatever the insult is. Whatever the insult is. You are literally just insulting that person personally. And to really put it into perspective, whatever you're about to type or whatever you're about to say, criticism-wise, ask yourself if you would go up to some random person in a gym and say that right to their face. And then ask yourself, why not? Chances are it's not because you're afraid you're going to get beat up or nothing like that. It's probably because it's incredibly rude and incredibly mean. And you wouldn't want to actually say it to somebody being a normal human being with a conscience. But as soon as it's online, it's like we totally forget that that's still a person. And we're like, oh, wow, that's just the product they're putting out. This product sucks. Like, hold up. That is still the person you are taking a shot at. You were literally insulting their self-image. It's different than insulting, you know, a separate skill that's actually separate from the person that they can practice and work on. You are insulting their body. So you have to be careful on that. People like to chalk it up as, oh, it's just constructive criticism. You're supposed to be able to take it. You put yourself out there in the public. You know, don't be so sensitive. But the fact of the matter is, there's nothing good about constructive, like negative. There's nothing good about negative insults or put downs. People like to lie to themselves and say, oh, it motivates. And it will motivate somebody to maybe prove that insult wrong. But even if they do end up overcoming it to prove it wrong, at the end of the day, you still planted that seed of insecurity in their head with that insult. And that's going to stick with them. And that might even make their mentality nastier once they finally do achieve their goal. Instead of being happy and positive about achieving their goal, they might be on the defensive about it. it might be a lot more of F the world once they achieve that goal. You know what I'm saying? So that's number one. Number two, the biggest issue, the biggest issue I think, is everyone has to remember that fitness is built off of insecurity, completely. 9 out of 10 bodybuilders started off as either the really skinny kid that was picked on, the little runt, or the overweight fat kid that was made fun of. It's usually how they started. And what people always forget is those insecurities stay with people forever. I don't care how amazing the person looks now. The confidence does not generally grow into match the actual physique. So that big guy, that 250-pound jack dude, in his head, he's still carrying that 104-pound runt with him. Or he's still carrying that ripped model with the 8-pack is still carrying that obese fat kid that used to get made fun of and picked last in gym class. That stays with them. So 9 out of 10 times, they're not walking around thinking they're better than you. Even though in your head you probably think they are. You look at that person in the gym, oh, he's jacked. Look at him walking around all serious. He probably thinks he's better than all of us. Fuck him. Chances are he doesn't actually think that he's better than anybody. He probably is completely concerned and infatuated only with the lagging points he still has. He's probably completely stressing over the weak points he still needs to bring up. Just like you are. It's basic psychology. However you're thinking in your head, 9 out of 10 times the people around you in the gym are thinking the same exact way. So before you go and throw rocks at somebody assuming that they're all ego with no sensitiveness in them, and you can say whatever you want to bring them down, consider the fact that they are coming from the same exact insecurities that you are most likely coming from. And it sucks because what it ends up doing is it turns this fitness industry into one gigantic pissing match. Everybody, the big 250-pound dude that started off as the skinny runt, still has that little dog syndrome. A little dog syndrome on a big ass dog is not a good combination. So that's when you get big ass jack dudes walking around trying to start pissing matches. Or that's when you get these ripped looking aesthetic 8-pack models walking around calling everybody who's not magazine shredded fat and chubby. Because they're so fat and chubby that now if anybody's not contest shredded, they're fat too. It's disgusting. And then people are so insecure themselves, they look at these big guys and they completely misread them and they assume that there's no insecurity in them. They just think they're better than everybody. So then they start attacking the big guys. And it just goes in this big circle of just insecurity fueling negativity. So this video is probably not going to make a bit of difference in the world at all, but what I recommend people start doing is when it comes to criticizing others online, stop, ask yourself, would you say this to somebody in person in a gym? And if not, don't type it. And number two is stop assuming everybody has the biggest ego in the world. Sometimes people just carry themselves strongly or they carry themselves firmly because it's how they freaking carry themselves. Don't let your own insecurities project judgments onto others. All I can say is try to look at everybody in a positive light. Because honestly, I've chatted. I'm very social in the gym. If I see a big dude who looks like he definitely competes, I'll strike up conversation. Any of my friends can vouch for that. And what I found is the biggest dudes, the dudes who have just that monotone look in their face the whole time in the gym, the dudes who look like they're complete douchebags, they end up being the nicest, most humble people in the entire gym. And in fact, the biggest dudes in the gym a lot of times, 250-pound monsters, you go up and talk to them, they'll have a laundry list of things they're not happy with about themselves. Oh, I want to step on stage, but I want to add this much more weight first, or I want to bring up my triceps, or I want to bring up this or that. They'll have a list of things they want to bring up, probably bigger than the list of things you want to improve on yourself. Does that sound arrogant to you? Sounds like they have a whole lot of insecurity. So then you challenging them is just going to make them more defensive, and you see how the cycle continues. So bottom line is the fitness industry needs to stop being so bitch-made. Fitness, come on. Come on, come on. Out. 3, easy, right? Good. Come on. Got it.
Like, it doesn't straight all the way.